With the new week comes new Friday content, and to be very honest, I don't know what to say. Hello YouTube and welcome back. Before I go into the breaking down Friday's content, and yes, I know I'm late to the party, but with the time content is being released and living overseas, there is just not even a chance for us in Europe to actually look at the content the same day. But what I want to say, I don't want to be the negative Nelly every single week, so I will go into the content very open-minded and I will try to be as positive as I can. But in the end of the day, I just want to be honest. So we got our last 4 cover athlete MSPs, and not a surprise who they all are, as we already knew who they will be from day one. Just a comment on the cover athletes. I think this is one of the most stupidest events EA could release, because there is not just that surprise effect when you are like looking at the MSPs every Friday, because we already know who they are, and in general you already know all the stats and everything, so it's just like a card you can now make which you couldn't make the day before. We also have new Gamebreaker cards, which I understand will be this year's prime time, so we will see loads of them. The next new cards will be these wildcard players, and yes, some of them have incredible stats, and it was confirmed by EA you cannot make any of them in sets. So thank you EA for putting them in the packs and asking us to spend more money. We also have new milestone cards, and that's pretty much it. But yes, obviously we still have wildcard, we'll still have objectives and some moments. In objectives for cover athlete week 2, we can earn another 282 overall cover athletes, but with the difference to week 1 before is that B&D card is now a choice pack, so it will not be a goalie if we pull one. It's absolutely awesome, then we can now finally choose a player we want, so there is not a risk to pull someone already you have, but in the same time, like, it's a B&D card, it's an 82 overall card. Yes, a lot of people will use these 82 overall cards, including myself, and this time I can actually choose it, but giving us a B&D card as a reward is just not right. By completing all of these, you get another 82 one, so this will basically be another card to help you make any of these new MSPs or even the old ones. I think it's a good thing that we can earn 82 overall cards by playing the game and after make an MSP. This was the same logic EA applied last year, where by completing objectives you get enough resources to make another card, and yes, if they will continue doing that every single event, that's great. The next one is a fantasy event, and I don't expect them to give us anything for free, so that's probably where we have to spend all the money. There also will be another event on parallel with the fantasy, so I believe that event will be more focused on free to play, at least I hope. If we move over to the hot moments, then this week by completing every single moment you earn another 282 overall cover athlete players. So that's 382 overall cover athletes we already can earn this week, and because you only need 6 and you already earned some last week and you can even make them, there is even a chance by spending a little bit of your fodder, if you even have any, you can make 2 MSPs. Again, I don't think you can earn all the players, but if you spend some of your fodder and trade them in or even go and buy any of the 82s, you definitely can make 2 MSPs. The only issue is, if you want me to spend 1 or 2 hours each week of grinding the moments and not earning any XP, I just don't think it's really fair to the casual players, because a lot of players who can only play a few hours a day, or let's say a few hours a week, will probably skip moments because they really want to work towards the XP path. The way EA sold all this like play the way you like and grind towards Jack Eichel isn't really working, so this is something I raised with EA yesterday, and they did say they will look into it. If they want us to play moments, they also have to find a way how to give us some XP. I'm not asking for 1000 XP after each moment, but maybe as a reward, let's say, by performing any deeks with Jack Hughes, you get a random 76 overall player and also 500 XP or something like that. So it means you cannot repeat these moments and just farm the XP, but by completing it, you will earn something. Now let's have a look at the wildcard. Wildcard is pretty much the same, but at least this week, by completing it, we will get a chance of pulling a 75 plus players. So basically, at tier 1 you get a 70 overall plus player, at tier 5 you get a 75 overall plus player, you also get some coins, and of course you get the 77 overalls, you also get 4 hot Gamebreaker collectibles, which is good, and then we have this Ivan Barbashev for free, another card which I believe is untradeable, you cannot even sell him, but maybe he will make someone's 4th line. But again, who knows? In the end of the day, it's a free card. If it's untradeable, I will take it. If it's a B&D card, because obviously it doesn't really say on the card art, then I will be very disappointed. But by completing everything on the wild card, we get another X Factor Series 1 player choice pack, which is probably the only W in this week's content. So this week, EA was generous enough to give us 2 free X Factor cards. So it means with getting a free X Factor in week 1 wild card, getting 1 X Factor in the objectives, getting another X Factor in this week's wild card, completing moments, and getting a pre-order, and I think there was a way of getting another one, you should now have loads of X Factors to get closer to making that first X Factor captain card. If you already have one, let me know who did you choose, because I probably will go after defensemen, because I just think that defensemen in the longer run will be more valuable. I will not be able to make every single captain very quickly, so I need to think about the player who will make the biggest impact in my team, so I think Miro Heiskanen would probably be my choice. If that's not the case, I could always go with Adam Fox, because once I will trade in them all in for that McDavid, which is obviously the goal of everyone's teams this year, you will still get 2 back. Obviously, Nikita Kucherov and Willie Nylander also looks good, but Willie Nylander really never plays good for me. So my probably first choice will be Miro Heiskanen, and my second choice would probably be Kucherov or vice versa. Now let's move over to the sets. As you see, in Wildcard Path, we will earn 4 Gamebreaker collectibles. So if you completed the objectives and Wildcard, you will earn enough collectibles to make another player. EA confirmed that the players you get in those sets, let's say an 84 overall B&D card or even the 80 plus overall tradable card, this is not just from the latest content drop, that's every single Gamebreaker card they released this week. So even the previous drop can still be here. So I really would not suggest you go after this B&D card because there is a huge possibility you can pull a duplicate card which you will not be able to use. So if you're wondering who to make, I probably would go with this 82 overall untradeable because in the end of the day at least you can use it in the set. As always, I will trade all my 6 collectibles in for an 80 plus overall card and pray for the best because in the end of the day, even if I pull another goalie, at least I can sell him. And I really want to talk about the B&D cards this year. I don't really love what EA is doing. Giving us a B&D cards as a reward, I know it's a choice, so I can actually ignore it and just move and make any other set, but clearly you want to make the best card you can. But if it's a B&D card, it has to be a choice block. That would be probably the first way how they could fix this. But in the same time, my understanding was then B&D cards will be the only cards you get back by completing the set, so you're getting some players back. Getting a B&D card as a reward is just not right. You have to spend hours of grinding the game, and in the end you're getting a card you cannot use anywhere else than in your team. Let's say in a month that card is obsolete, you will not need it, and it will just be in your collections forever. In the future, I hope EA release some kind of sets or something where we need the B&D cards, because if that's not the case, we will end up the year with at least 50 plus B&D cards in our collections we cannot do anything about. To make any of the cover athlete MSPs, same as last week, you must trade in 682 overall cover athlete, and yes, there are some great cards in this week. So you can basically make Steven Stamkos, and you also can make Vladimir Tarasenko, Ovechkin, and Peter Forsberg. But I would really recommend you go after Makar because I think he's one of the best cards. If you already didn't choose him in, let's say, in your pre-order, then Makar is the card I would suggest you go after. I was stupid enough to not choose him, and I choose Steven Stamkos, who plays incredible for me, but I just think adding Makar, and that's the one I will make after completing everything, will make a huge difference to my team. If we look at actual cards, there are some great players. From wildcard, players like Evan Bouchard looks very good. With offensive defenseman activated, it's basically an auto goal from the blue line, and Thunderclub should make it even more fun. Brock Besser is also very solid because of his speed at 83 overall, and shooting stats are very good as well. And the same comes with Philip Forsberg. Great card, and I would love to have him in my team. But to pay 120 plus K for this card is just mind-blowing. You cannot make them in the set, and the only way to get them is basically pulling in the packs or going and buying him in the auction house. As much as I would love any of these cards in my team, I'm just not spending that amount of coins. From Gamebreaker Cards, one of the cards I would like to get my hands on is this Alex DeBrincat. Speed and shooting or hand stats this early in the game are very good. And yes, he's a small, but how the hitting works this year, I'm not worried about him losing a lot of battles near the boards. If you by any chance get this Cameron Schmidt, don't be sad, as he's actually a great card at 80 overall. 96 agility and 90 plus shooting power will be a fun card to try out. And of course, we cannot have Hut without Noah Dobson card. Cannot wait to see him every week again. And yes, I'm not saying he don't deserve the card. What I'm saying, considering what happened last year where we was getting a Noah Dobson card every single week, now we just need to wait for another Brian Leach, and then basically we are the same as we was in NHL 24. From cover athlete MSPs, there isn't a lot to say, but one card I would like to try out is this Vladimir Tarasenko, because by any reason I think he plays way better than the stats. So if I could make another MSP on top of Makar, I'm planning to make, he would be my choice. And the last but not least, Milestone Cards. We have to agree that this Dylan Guenther looks insane, but how many will be actually able to get him without spending money this year? If you look at the Nikon Tropov, a big player, but I don't think the size of the player plays a big role this early in the game. So other than that, there isn't anything special about this card, and to be honest, I'm very disappointed because he's usually one of the cards I really want to get in my team. So that's me done with breaking down yesterday's content. And it may be a very sad year if EA don't find a way how to turn this around. You cannot really keep up with having a good teams without living in the game. If you're spending 8+ hours every single day in the game, there is no issues. You will be able to get pretty much every single card. You'll be able to progress in the XP pack. You'll be able to complete all the moments. But for people who don't spend that much time in the game, there is just no chance of getting really anything. If you can only complete a wildcard, you don't really have time to play rivals. And if you're playing moments, you're not earning XP. So yes, EA is giving us some freebies and we can make an MSPs, but not everything is that rewarding as we thought it will be. I actually feel sorry for people like Trash or any other content creators who make a living out of this game, because with this year's content, it will be very challenging year for them. But hey, we can still hope for something good next week, can we? With that being said, thanks for watching today's video. I try to be as positive as I can, because you cannot just be negative all the time, but in the same time, let's be very honest. This year's content is probably way worse than it was last year, and I was thinking last year's content was bad. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, have a good one, and see you on the ice.